Now enough of that. Let's get on with it, Joe. Let's install the doorknobs. And anytime you get a security screen door, generally you're going to have two holes here. So you can go to the store and you can get a new knob set. What I generally do first is I would look at the existing knobs and see what kind of handles they are, what brand it is, or the roundness of the handle. Maybe it's kind of more square, pointy around the edge. Maybe it's a lever handle. Maybe it's silver or bright brass or something like that. So she went to the store, and this is like an oil rubbed bronze finish. Got an oil rubbed bronze doorknob, and it's round. And then she got a deadbolt that's going to fit up above. Okay. And if you want, what you'd have to do, if you really want this key the same for here, you would have to take an existing key here, take this lock set and take it to a locksmith and take it to their place of business, and they can rekey both of these to match your existing key if you wanted to do that. That's probably going to run you 25, 30 bucks, maybe. Okay. Now here's the other thing. Sometimes the bottom handle may hit this bottom handle, and so you never know that until you get this from the store. And in our case, here's the bottom handle. Preferably you want the bottom handle here, and then you want the deadbolt up there. Okay. And I look, and we look at this. Here's the center. The center of it's right here, and that's above this handle, so that's going to be fine. It's barely going to miss, and the deadbolt's fine too. Okay, now worst case scenario, what would have happened if this was a little lower or these were up a little higher and the handle were to hit the other handle? Then what you could do, it's a little unorthodox, but you would have no real choice in the matter. Well, here's a couple different choices. You can put the deadbolt down low and the handle up high, or you can put the new handle down low, the deadbolt up here, like it's supposed to be, and then you would take these two off and you put the handle up high and the deadbolt down low. That way you've got enough clearance for everything. Okay, but in our case we don't have to do that, do we? That's fine. Okay, so this video series now is going to be how to install these doorknobs, the deadbolt and the new handle. Ready for that? Let's do it. Another reason why I like my snips so much. Sometimes you can pop these off, but if you can't, you can cut this out. Okay. And it's still kind of tricky, but you can do it. Of course you can do it. Now you can pull it apart. That's if you got welded ones. Sometimes they don't have welded ones. Maybe you've got just some little nibs here. You can pull this apart and pull this really hard. See, like that, and it would have came off. Okay. That's the first step, is to open up the cotton picking package. Now for our purposes, we're not going to use the strike plate or the deadbolt latch, the strike, okay, because we're going into that metal. We'll just save those, and you can use them. You never know when you're going to use that, okay. These also come with directions, so if you're not quite sure how this works, there's directions in there, okay. We're going to get ready to put this together. Okay, sometimes these little screws, they might have machine threads on there or wood threads. In our case, they only gave us wood, even though we're going into metal. So what I like to do is put it in there, hold your mouth just right, screw it in gently, and try to keep it straight, just so that we get this going in there. Okay, and I'll do that to all of my screws here. It only takes you a minute. Okay, now I can use a new screw. that hole. Try to get it nice and straight, even pressure on there. See, I'm just now starting to go crooked there. Look at that. I don't know if I can, see, I back it off. Now maybe I can hold it like that and go in. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, good. Okay. Now I want to probably use that same screw for that hole, because it's already got kind of a memory on it. Okay. Alright. I'm going to do that one first. That's my bottom latch. Take that off. And I'm going to hold that on there like that. I'm going to look at it, make sure it looks right. And I'm going to screw that in there. Before I get it tight, I'm going to put the bottom one in. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay. There we go. Don't over tighten it, just snug. Now we're going to do the deadbolt strike. When I put that in there, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to make sure that this middle section is right in the center. Now if yours is offset, this one, let's see what it's set for. This looks like 2 3/8 back set. You either got a back set of 2 3/8, you measure from the edge of the door to the center of the hole. This is 2 3/8, or it'll be 2 3/4. And usually nowadays, whenever you get a new deadbolt, this will be interchangeable for either 2 3/8 or 2 3/8 back set, or 2 3/4 back set, as well as this bottom one. See this bottom one? I could have moved this over. It's as simple as that. Now that's a 2 3/4 back set, but I want 2 3/8 back set, and it's right there. Okay? So before I do that, what am I going to do? Yes. I'm going to set my screws in here just like I did before. Now if you get a screw that's going in a little stubborn, you don't want to force it, because you could twist it right off. You can't, if you feel like, okay, it's pretty tight, just back it off a little bit and then go forward again, and then back and forward. Okay? What you're doing is you're creating a little bit of a slop, or you're breaking off a little bit of the thread tip edges of the outside threads. Okay, I probably went in too far. I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm having a hard time getting it out. So I'm just going to go a little bit and then go forward. Now we'll do a little bit more backwards and go forward again. Okay, I don't want to just cream it out of there, and that's why I would suggest doing this by hand rather than your battery operated drill. You get that going in there just right. You could strip the head off, break this in half, and then you're going to have to say, okay, how am I getting the threads out because they're broken off in there and all that. Okay, it's going tight again, so I'm going to put it back in a little bit, back it out, back and forth. Jeez, I wasn't going to show this, but I thought I might as well. Boy, it shouldn't be that difficult. There, finally. And I'm going to remember to use this one on the bottom. See how it kind of eats up a little bit of your thread? That's because you're going into metal, and they didn't give us a machine thread there. Sometimes you'll see these, and there might be wood threads down a little bit, and towards the end they might be machine thread. So I've seen those too, okay? But this will still work. You just have to be careful and mindful of what you're doing. I'm going tight and it feels good. I got right over that first part. Okay, now I'm going to back that out. I'm going to make sure I use that particular screw for the top, right? Oh, man, just this is tiring my forearm out. Okay, let's get this back in there. Okay, I'll make sure that's on the bottom. And you'll see a little arrow, and it should say up somewhere on there. Take a look on that. And I even see a little gauge here. It says 2 3/8. So this one, you might have to push it in and then pop out, and then it will say 2 3/4, let's say, because it doesn't look like this down here can shift. So before you start messing around with that, read the directions and see how it works, or play around with it. See, I could maybe twist this. No, that just opens it. So it's got to be a different way. I think you push on this and twizzle it around. I mean, it's interchangeable. Just read the directions and figure it out. I always like to put both latches in first. Get the side bit done. Okay. I got the right screw for the right hole. Just make it snug. Don't try to overdo it, because you tighten that too much, you could start spinning the screw in there. Possibly. I've done it before. Okay, there. That's your first bit of your project.